first step is always to find the factors of 36 and the factors of 48. And in so doing, you're always going to start with 1, because 1 is a factor of every number, and the number itself, because every number is a factor of itself, so they are always going to be your starting point. After that, you want to try and find all the other factors in between, and this comes down to knowing your times tables and also knowing divisibility tests, and I might make a video about those another time. But for now, we know that the next factor of 36 is 2. 2 goes into 36 18 times. So I'm writing them on opposite ends because I'm actually going to arrange them in ascending or increasing order. Alright, after 2, I know that 3 is a factor of 36. 3 goes into 36 12 times. So that's my next set of factors. After is not, 8 is not, 12 is a common factor to both of them, and then none of the others are common to both of them. So we have quite a lot of common factors, but remember, we are looking for the highest common factor. Okay, so the highest one between them is going to be 12. And so I'm going to write my answer that the HCF of 36 and 48 equals 12. Okay, so I'm now going to clear my page and we're going to move on to example number 2. So with this example, I've been asked to find the HCF for 54 and 81. So I'm going to start in the same way. 1 is always going to be my first factor, and the number itself, which is 54. Okay. Next, because it's an even number, I know that 2 is a factor, so 2 into 54 goes 27 times. Next, 3 is a factor. 3 goes into 54 18 times. And again, you just either need to know your times tables or you need to know the divisibility tests. Alternatively, you could also just do very quick mental maths. So by that I mean, like, if you didn't know that 3 goes into 54 18 times, you might go off to the side and do how many times does 3 go into 54? 3 into 5 goes once, 1 times 3 is 3, so 2 is left over, so put the 2 there. 3 into 24 goes 8. Okay, so you can always do that even as a mental strategy. Okay, my next factor is 6, and 6 goes into 54 9 times. And that's it. I have no other factors, so I'm going to bring that closer. Okay, so those are the factors of 54, and again, if I pair them up, I can see that 1 goes into 54 times, and 2 goes into 54 27 times, and 3 goes into 54 18 times, and 6 goes into 54 9 times. So I've made sure that each one is paired up with its other factor. Okay, so now I'm going to move on to my second number, which is 81. So again, we're going to start with 1 and 81 because they are always going to be factors. The next factor that goes into 81, it's an odd number, so 2 is not a factor, so the next number is 3, and 3 goes into 81 27 times. The next factor is 9, and 9 goes into 81 9 times. So 9 times 9 is 81, so we don't need to write it twice. Okay, so I'm just going to bring this whole thing here. Okay, so those are my factors, and I'm going to do that check one more time. 1 times 81 is 81. 3 times 27 is 81. And 9 times 9 is 81, and I don't need to write it twice. Okay. So just remember, you don't need to show this. This is just for you to do as a mental strategy to make sure you haven't left any factors out. Okay. So now I want to find all my lowest common factor, and the highest one is 27. So, to answer this question, I can say that the HCF of 54 and 81 is 27. Alright, we're going to clear the page and do example number 3. Okay, so with this one we need to find the HCF of 24 and 36. So I think by now you're hopefully getting the idea. So we're going to start with 1 and 24. The next factor is 2. 2 goes into 24 12 times. The next factor is 3, which goes into 24 8 times. And the next factor is 4. Whoops, I didn't leave myself enough space. So we're going to try and capture that and move it along. Okay, so 4 goes into 24 6 times. Now, just checking that I've paired everyone up. So 1 is paired up with 24, 2 is paired up with 12, 3 is paired up with 8, and 4 is paired up with 6, so I know that I haven't left anything out. Okay, 36. Let's move it up. Okay, so first factor is always going to be 1, and then 36. 2 is a factor because it's an even number, so 2 goes into 36 18 times. 3 goes into 36 12 times, and 4 goes into 36 9 times. Okay, so again, I've definitely paired each one up. I've got 1 and 36. I've then got 2 and 18. I've then got 3 and 12, and 4 and 9. Okay, so my common factors are 1 is common to both of them, 2 is common, 3 is common, 4 is common, 6 and 8 are not, 9 is not, 12 is common, 24, 18, 36, all the rest are not. So to answer my question, the HCF of 24 and 36 is 12. Okay, so we're going to clear the page and moving on to question number 4. Alright, so now we need to find the HCF of 45 and 75. So again, as always, I'm going to start with 1 and the number itself as my first 2 factors. Now, this is not an even number, so 2 is not going to be a factor. 3 is a factor, and 3 goes into 45 15 times. My next factor is 5, which goes into 45 9 times. And those are my factors. So I'm going to line them up and just double check that I haven't left anything out. So 1 and 45 pair up as a reminder, any number that ends in 0 or 5 will be divisible by 5. And this just goes back to your divisibility rules. So 5 goes into 75 15 times. Now, if you weren't sure of that, again, you could just go off to the side and do a little division and say 5 into 7 goes once. 1 times 5 is 5. That means I've got 2 left over. So 5 into 25 goes 5 times, and that's 15. Okay. So now let's make sure that I haven't left anything out and that they all pair up. So 1 pairs up with 75. 3 times 25 is 75, and 5 times 15 is 75. Okay, so now I'm just gonna make sure that I can identify my common factors. So 1 is common, 3 is common, 5 is common to both of them, 9 is not, 15 is common, and no other numbers, no other factors are common. So again, I want the highest common factor, not just any common factor, but the highest one. And in this case, that is going to be 15. That is the highest factor that is common to both of them. So my answer is the HCF of 45 and 75 is 15. Okay, and we're going to clear the page and move on to the last example, number 5. So we need to find the HCF of 60 and 90. Okay, so starting off with 1 and the number itself. It's an even number, so 2 will be a factor, and 2 goes into 60 30 times. The next factor is 3. 3 goes into 60 20 times. The next factor is 4, which goes into 60 15 times. The next factor, because it ends in 0, is 5. 5 goes into 60 12 times. And my last factor, and I'm gonna have to create a bit of room here and move that along. Okay. My last factor is 6, which goes in 10 times. So I should say the last 2 factors. Alright. So have I paired everything up? Let's have a look. 1 times 60 is 60. 2 times 30 is 60. 3 times 20 is 60. 4 times 15 is 60. 5 times 12 is 60, and 6 times 10 is 60. So again, it's just my little mental check to make sure that I haven't left anything out. Okay, so let's move on to my second number, 90. Starting off with a factor of 1 and 90, and moving on. So it's an even number, so 2 is going to be a factor, and 2 into 90 goes 45 times. Next we have 3, which goes into 90 30 times. My next factor is 5, which goes into 90 18 times. Then I have 6, which goes into 90 15 times. And I have 9. I'm going to have to create a bit more room. And 9 goes into 90 10 times. So let's pair them up again, make sure I haven't missed anything. So 1 times 90 is 90. 2 times 45 is 90. 3 times 30 is 90. 5 times 18 is 90. And if you want to do it on the side, just to have a check, 5 times 8 is 40. 0 carry 4. 5 times 1 is 5 plus 4 is 90. Okay, so you can always go off to the side and just do a little check for yourself. Okay, 6 times 15 is 90, and 9 times 10 is 90. So I've got all my factors. Okay, so now I want to find my common factors. 1, 2, 3, 4 is not common. 5 is common. 6 is common. 9 is not. 10 is common. 12 is not. 15 is common. 18, 20 are not. 30 is common, and the rest are not. So in looking for my highest common factor, that is going to be 30. So to answer my question, okay guys, that brings us to the end of today's video. I hope you enjoyed learning about the HCF, which comes in handy in so many mathematical operations and questions. So thank you for joining me.